An overlanding journey is made across land in a vehicle and is a self-reliant adventure travel through remote areas where the journey is more important than the destination, and it is accomplished with mechanized, off-road capable transport where the principal form of lodging is the camping.
In Tichitt, our caravan grew stronger. A new member joined the expedition. Felipe arrived from Dakar, behind the wheel of a Land Rover Defender 130. Long wheelbase, heavy duty, built for journeys like this. Another engine in the desert, another set of hands, another story joining ours. From this point on, we were not just travelers. We were a convoy, ready for the long crossing ahead.
يعني المهم تجيب المريض نعم.
After leaving Porto under relentless rain, after flooded roads, long borders, and 7 hours of chaos between Morocco and Mauritania, the real expedition began. We crossed the Tropic of Cancer, an invisible line, but a powerful milestone. We drove 450 kilometers along the iron ore railway, beside one of the longest trains in the world. We camped under our first Saharan sky and endured 3 days of sandstorm, with temperatures swinging from 29 degrees in the day to just 1 degree at night. The desert tested the car. A seized bearing, a broken belt, a replacement part delivered overnight to a remote military checkpoint. In Africa, somehow, everything works. We stood before the giants of stone, Ben Amera and Ben Aisha. We explored the Eye of Africa. We walked through Wadan and Shingeti, ancient cities of caravans and knowledge. And now, fully resupplied in Tichitt, 250 liters of diesel per vehicle, water and supplies for days, we are ready for the next challenge. 700 kilometers of sand tracks, no fuel, no support, just us and the Sahara. Episode 2 begins here. Before departure from Tichitt meant one thing: preparation. This was the last real resupply point before the big crossing. Ahead of us, nearly 700 kilometers of sand tracks to Nema. No fuel stations, no villages, no help. Every vehicle needed at least 250 liters of diesel, water for several days, food supplies for 4 to 5 days of isolation. Once we left Tichitt, we were on our own. Before departure, we replaced the seized bearing and installed the new belt. I kept the spare parts with me, just in case. Out here, prevention is survival. You don't gamble with mechanics in the Sahara, you prepare. Fuel tanks full, water secured, gear checked, engines running. From this point forward, it wasn't about comfort, it was about endurance. The real desert was waiting.
These videos have no commercial purpose. I do not promote or advertise any brand. I create them simply as a hobby to keep alive the memories of my journeys and to share a few stories and useful information with those who, like me, are passionate about this kind of adventure. I have been traveling the world for more than 50 years, from Asia to the Middle East, from the deserts of the South to the high mountains of the Himalayas. But today, with mass tourism filling the cities, I choose another path. I escape to remote mountains and vast deserts where silence still reigns and nature speaks louder than the crowd. On the road, I live simply. I cook my own meals, but when I find a small family restaurant with traditional food, I never miss the chance to taste it. I sleep under the stars, in bivouacs or campsites, rather than in hotels. What I search for is always the same: adventure, natural beauty, good food and drink, and the joy of sharing it with true companions. And often, I prefer to travel alone or with no more than 2 or 3 vehicles, because in the end, overlanding is not about comfort or speed. It is about freedom, discovery, and living every journey as a story worth telling.
Vou montar tenda aqui. Aqui está bom.
Soft winds carry endless sands embrace.
After 10 hours behind the wheel, after sand, heat, and endless tracks, there is a moment we never skip. Food on an expedition is fuel. It keeps the body strong. It keeps the spirit balanced. But there is also tradition. As the sun begins to fall and the desert cools down, there's always a small ritual, the gin and tonic. Simple, cold, perfect. A quiet toast in the middle of nowhere. Boots still dusty, engines ticking as they cool. It's not about luxury, it's about marking the day. Because after 10 hours of driving through the Sahara, you earn that moment. After leaving Tichitt, there was no turning back. The asphalt disappeared, the tracks narrowed, and the sand began. On that first day alone, we covered around 280 kilometers, all in deep, soft desert terrain. No firm ground, no shortcuts, just dunes, loose sand, and constant concentration behind the wheel. Fuel consumption climbed fast, nearly 25 liters per 100 kilometers. In the Sahara, distance is not measured in kilometers, it's measured in effort. Low gear when needed, momentum carefully managed, tire pressures reduced, engines working hard under the heat. This wasn't just driving, it was commitment. And as the sun began to set over an ocean of sand, we knew one thing for certain: the real crossing had begun.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Vous êtes en français?
Non, portugais.
Oui, quoi?
Portugais.
Portugais.
Oui.
Parlez.
Parler portugais. Et français aussi.
Monsieur. Monsieur, là, ça?
Ça. شكرا.
Sand is moving
Mario.
slowly where the golden shadows go. Where the golden shadows go. Just the sky and just the past. In the desert's quiet land. Oh, the horizon is wide, with nowhere for the heart to hide. Walking through the endless light, toward the coming of the night. Toward the coming of the night. One foot follows one. In the heat follows one. In the heat of the noon sun. Solitude is deep and kind, leaving all the world behind. Oh, the horizon is wide, with nowhere for the heart to hide. Walking through the endless light, toward the coming of the night. Toward the coming of the night. The journey never ends.
In the vast emptiness of southeastern Mauritania stands Tichitt, a city of stone, ancient, resilient. Founded around the 12th century, Tichitt became one of the key towns of the Trans-Saharan Caravan network. For centuries, caravans crossed these lands carrying salt from the north, gold from the south, textiles, manuscripts, spices, and human lives traded in darker chapters of history. Tichitt was not just a stop, it was a hub. Merchants gathered here, goods were exchanged, knowledge circulated through its narrow stone streets. Built almost entirely from dry stone masonry, the city blends into the desert itself, as if it rose directly from the plateau. But the history of Tichitt goes even deeper. Long before the medieval caravans, this region was already inhabited by prehistoric communities thousands of years ago, some of the earliest known complex societies in West Africa. Today, silence dominates its alleys. The wind moves through abandoned houses. Sand slowly reclaims the walls. Yet Tichitt still stands, a reminder that the Sahara was once not a barrier, but a bridge between civilizations.
Vamos. ¿Quieres otro posición por favor? Jamais, mas faz tempo que vê que é a Mauritania. Para aí a volta, a virar a volta.
Along the tracks, far from any village or road sign, the desert keeps another secret: rock paintings. Ancient engravings carved into stone. Scattered across cliffs and rocky outcrops, these markings tell stories that are thousands of years old. Giraffes, cattle, human figures, hunting scenes, images from a time when the Sahara was greener, when rivers flowed and wildlife roamed where today there is only sand. These are not decorations, they are messages. Traces of people who lived here long before caravans, long before cities, long before borders. Standing in front of these engravings, you feel something different. Not just history, presence. Hands that shaped stone, eyes that looked at the same horizon. The desert may erase footprints in minutes, but sometimes it leaves stories carved in rock forever.
caravana para transportar o sal.
The great caravan routes of the Sahara are not just history. They still exist. Today, the gold and manuscripts are gone, but the movement continues. Salt. Across the desert, caravans still transport blocks of salt for livestock, essential minerals for camels, goats, and cattle. Just as important today as they were centuries ago. The scale is smaller now, the rhythm slower, but the tradition survives. Camels walking in single file, dust rising behind them, men guiding them across ancient tracks that have been used for generations. The Sahara was once a highway of empires. Today, it remains a highway of necessity. Different cargo.
Okay, no? Okay. Okay. Cadeau.
جاوك ايوه كتطفي بس يطفي
C'est pour voir.
يا ماما ماما
C'est là.
قام لا تطفي قام لا تطفي شيء لا تطفي انا
Fini. Fini. C'est fini. C'est fini.
As we continued toward Nema, the desert revealed something even older than the caravan towns. Prehistoric stone settlements, more than 4,000 years old. From a distance, they almost disappear into the landscape, but from above, their design becomes clear. Circular structures, stone enclosures, organized layouts built on elevated ground, always on high points, strategic, defensive, overlooking the surrounding plains. These were not temporary camps, they were permanent communities. People lived here when the Sahara was greener. They raised cattle, they shaped tools, they built in stone to last. And somehow, it did. Today, the wind moves through empty circles where families once gathered. No walls fully standing, no roofs remaining, just geometry carved into the earth. Proof that long before the medieval caravans, long before the desert became what it is today, civilization was already here.
J'avais déjà acheté
During the journey, I had brought something with me, clothes, and a few pairs of sneakers. With intention, not much, just what I could carry. But out here, even the smallest things matter. One young boy received a pair. He looked at them carefully, then tried them on. And suddenly, everything changed. A smile, a lightness in his step, pure, genuine happiness. As if he was walking on clouds. Maybe it was the first time in his life he had ever worn sneakers. A simple gesture, but a powerful one. Because sometimes, the most meaningful part of a journey is not what you see. It's what you give.
Yalla.
Chega?
Chega.
Fernando, sai daí que a corda pode partir. Fernando. Fernando.
Along the track, we made a quick stop. A famous rock formation, shaped like the head and trunk of an elephant. Nature playing tricks with stone, carved by wind, shaped by time. From the right angle, it's unmistakable, an elephant in the middle of the desert. We stopped for a few photos, and as always, the Land Cruiser became part of the scene, dusty, loaded, standing there against the rock. Almost as much of an attraction as the formation itself. Because in the Sahara, even a vehicle tells a story, and sometimes it becomes part of the landscape.
Golden sands under a silent sun. Under a silent sun. Where the shadows drift and the light is spun. Every grain holds a story untold. In a world made of amber and ancient gold, let the silence speak, let the spirit fly underneath the vast and burning sky.
Long tracks, day after day. Engines start early, around 7:30 in the morning, and they don't stop until sunset. 6, sometimes 7 in the evening. Hours behind the wheel, constant focus, endless sand stretching to the horizon. Dunes, soft tracks, more sand, and then more sand again. It's demanding, repetitive, relentless, and yet there's something addictive about it. The rhythm of the drive, the challenge of the terrain, the connection between man, machine, and desert. Adrenaline builds with every kilometer, because this is not just driving, this is pure pleasure.
Walking through the blue of a moonlit dream. Nothing is ever quite what it may seem.
That night, we camped in Lasba, at the top of a dune. The wind softer now, the horizon endless. Around us, incredible rock formations rising from the sand, shaped by time, carved by wind, standing like silent guardians of the desert. From up there, the view felt infinite. Golden dunes stretching in every direction, shadows growing longer as the sun disappeared. It was one of those perfect Saharan camps, high ground, total silence, raw beauty. A bivouac suspended between sand and stone. We woke up early, after a calm night under the desert sky. Silence still hanging in the air. No wind, no movement, just the first light touching the dunes. Breakfast was simple, quiet, unhurried. And then, it was time to leave this special place where we had spent the night in bivouac. The day ahead looked perfect. Clear sky, no wind, temperature just right. One of those rare desert mornings, when everything feels in balance. And as the engines came back to life, we knew it was going to be a good day. Along the tracks, far from any village, we began noticing something unusual. Flat stones, carefully shaped, worn smooth in the center. Grinding stones, used by nomads during their crossings of the desert. These are not random objects. They are known points, recognized places along ancient routes. Nomadic families stop here, rest here, and use these stones to grind grain, preparing flour in the middle of the Sahara, just as generations before them did. Simple tools, heavy stones carried across harsh terrain, left in strategic locations for future journeys. They speak of survival, of rhythm, of knowledge passed quietly from one generation to the next. In the vast emptiness of the desert, these stones are small signs of continuity, proof that the Sahara is not empty, it is lived in. Another stop, in a place far from everything. Just two houses, alone in the desert. As soon as we arrived, they came towards us. Smiles, curiosity, and something to sell. Prehistoric pieces, stone tools, fragments found in the surrounding desert, objects shaped thousands of years ago, now part of daily survival. In a place this remote, there are no jobs, no steady income, only what the land can offer, and sometimes what the past leaves behind. It's not tourism, it's necessity, a way to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Because out here, in the middle of nowhere, you use whatever you have.
Laissez même dernière, laissez une fois qu'il est passé par là.
3 voitures, 5. Non, merci, ça va.
الكراع هذا
لا سوا
مش يجيبوا لي كراع توتو اللي قالوا كيف
drifted way too far. I see it sometimes behind those kind eyes. I see it sometimes behind those kind eyes. Wake me up when this is all over. Take my heart with both of your hands. I've been spending all my days just trying to find a way. Give me love when this is all over.
Whoa. No caso. Okay. شكرا. Yeah, bye bye.
It's been a long time coming, but it feels all the same anyway. You'll be in my mind at any given part of the day. Give me love when this is all over. And take my heart with both.
Across the desert, in places where no villages exist today, we began to notice strange formations. Small mounds, circles of piled stones, simple, silent markers rising from the sand. Pre-Islamic cemeteries, ancient burial sites scattered across the Sahara. No inscriptions, no carved names, just carefully arranged stones marking where someone was laid to rest. Centuries, sometimes thousands of years ago. Some are circular, some are elongated, all of them facing no obvious direction to the untrained eye. They stand alone on plateaus, on ridges, in open plains, silent witnesses to lives long forgotten. In the middle of a landscape that feels empty, these stone mounds remind us of something powerful. People lived here, traveled here, died here. The desert may erase footprints in a day, but it keeps its graves for eternity. It had been a calm evening. Dinner finished slowly, voices relaxed, the desert finally quiet around us, the stars beginning to appear, and then the wind shifted. At first, just a breeze brushing against the tent, then stronger, colder, more aggressive. Within minutes, the calm disappeared. The sandstorm was back, wind tearing across the dunes, fine dust invading everything, inside the car, inside the kitchen gear, even inside zipped bags. You could hear it hitting the fabric, feel it against your face, taste it in the air. The peaceful desert we had toasted to at dinner was gone. In its place, raw force, a reminder that in the Sahara, comfort is temporary. Nature always has the final word. Along the tracks, in places where you would never expect life, we found wells. Deep, hand-dug wells in the middle of the Sahara. No machinery, no electric pumps, just rope, leather bags, and patience. Men pull the water using camels or donkeys. Step by step, the animals walk away from the well, lifting heavy sacks filled with water from the depths below. Slow, rhythmic, ancient. The water reaches the surface, and then something beautiful happens. Camels begin to gather, goats move closer, donkeys and cattle approach from every direction. It feels almost as if they call one another. In this land, animals are not private property in the way we understand it. They belong to the community. They drink together. They survive together. The well is not just a source of water. It is a meeting point, a place of cooperation, a lifeline in the desert. In the Sahara, water is everything. And around these wells, you see how life continues, not through ownership, but through shared survival. At the far edge of the desert stands Oualata, the last and most remote of the ancient caravan cities. Here, the Sahara feels harsher, more isolated, more extreme. For centuries, Oualata was a vital link between North Africa and the Sahel, a southern gateway of the trans-Saharan trade routes. Caravans arrived here after weeks, sometimes months, crossing endless sand. Salt, gold, manuscripts, stories. But what makes Oualata unique is not only its history, it is its beauty. Traditional houses decorated with white and reddish paintings surrounding the doors and windows, geometric patterns, handmade designs passed down through generations, art in the middle of the desert, color against dust. Walking through its narrow streets, you feel both fragility and strength. Walls cracked by time, sand pressing against foundations, silence filling the alleys. Oualata is not just an old city, it is the edge of the caravan world, a place where trade ended and the deep Sahara truly began. Somewhere deep in the desert, another challenge appeared. The defender started making noise from the rear. We stopped, checked underneath, and found the problem. The toothed ring inside the rear axle was gone, completely worn, destroyed. No spare part nearby, no workshop for hundreds of kilometers. Only sand, heat, and improvisation. There was only one option, welding the axle. First attempt, not enough. Second attempt, still not holding. Only on the third weld did it finally lock properly. Solid, stable, good enough to continue. Out here, you don't look for perfect solutions. You look for solutions that work. In the Sahara, mechanics become creativity. And once again, the convoy moved forward. Because in an expedition like this, you don't stop. In Oualata, even the houses tell a story. Look closely at the doorways. Hand-painted patterns, geometric shapes, white and reddish tones standing out against the earth-colored walls. These decorations are traditionally made by the women of the house, passed down from generation to generation. Each pattern carries meaning, identity, family heritage, protection, and beauty in a place where life is harsh. It is also a sign of care, of pride, a way of saying, this home matters. In a land of sand and simplicity, these painted doors bring color, culture, and expression to daily life. Not just decoration, but tradition, painted by hand. Inside the only small shop in Ouadane, life moved slowly. A few shelves, basic goods, dust settling in the corners. Behind the counter, the owner sat quietly, tearing cardboard boxes into pieces, not throwing them away, saving them. Here, nothing is wasted. The cardboard would be fed to the goats. In a land where resources are scarce, everything has value. Everything has purpose. What we might see as trash is food, fuel, survival. In the desert, you learn quickly. Simplicity is not poverty, it is efficiency.
خطوات في القلب يحتوي إلى النهاية إلى النهاية سلام.
Driving at night in Mauritania is almost suicide. No exaggeration. Cars without lights. Cars driving with full beams constantly on. No lane discipline. No warning. And then, the animals. Donkeys. Standing completely still in the middle of the road. No reflection in their eyes. No movement. Just silhouettes appearing at the last second in the darkness. You slow down. You focus harder. You grip the steering wheel tighter, because out here, night driving is not routine, it's risk. In the Sahara, when the sun goes down, the safest decision is simple. Stop, camp, and wait for daylight.
Bonjour, Chikali.
Oh, mon ami. Ah, voilà, très bien. On est à moitié de la route. On a fait un grand traversée, traversée. Le frontière marocain jusqu'à la site de la Mauritanie, dans le désert. La voiture, pas de problème, on est passé intact, tout bien.
Avec un grand guide.
Avec un grand guide, il s'appelle Chikali.
Il
Hussein.
est chauffeur de colonel.
Chauffeur, colonel, mécanicien, guide, professionnel, tout.
Shukran. Tem que ser uma verguinha de aço, pá. Vais ter que meter aí uma...
Agora, pá.
Along the road in the small towns and villages, the desert feels very different. Here, everything moves, everything is traded, everything is repaired, everything is reused. Markets spill into the streets. Vegetables, fish, spare parts, fabric, tools, all laid out in the open air. Dust mixes with commerce. Voices mix with engines, a constant, vibrant rhythm. Donkey carts roll slowly past. Old Mercedes-Benz 190D still running after decades. Toyota Hilux pickups everywhere. Dusty, overloaded, unstoppable. 95% of what moves has purpose. No excess, no decoration, just function. In these villages, life is practical, direct, intense. The Sahara may be silent between towns, but along the road, it pulses with energy.
Shadows stretch like giant hands across the dunes. Shadows tell the stories that the wind forgets. نجوم تلامع في الخيال. نجوم تلامع في الخيال. The air is cool, the world is still. A moment of truth. Desert eyes look to the sky.
This was the third weld, the last attempt to fix the Defender's rear axle. Out here, there are no perfect repairs, only solutions that keep you moving. First try, it failed. Second, not strong enough. But this one held. Solid enough to face the desert, strong enough to carry us all the way back to Portugal. Sometimes, it's not about doing it right. It's about doing it well enough to continue. And in this journey, that was all we needed.
Merci.
Podes falar lá, tá? Bonjour. Bonjour.
Siga, amigo. Já valeu.
Lá.
In Mauritania, there's a story people like to tell about animals on the road. They say that one day, 3 animals took a taxi: a donkey, a goat, and a dog. The donkey paid the full fare, so now he believes he owns the road. That's why he stands right in the middle, calm, unmoved, refusing to step aside. The dog paid too, but never received his change. So he keeps running after every car, chasing what he thinks is still owed to him. And the goat? The goat paid nothing. So every time she sees a vehicle coming, she runs away as fast as she can, afraid she might finally have to pay. It's just a story. But when you drive these roads at sunset, and you see a donkey blocking your path, a dog chasing your bumper, and a goat jumping into the bushes, you start to wonder. Maybe the story isn't so far from the truth. After a long day on the treks, we stopped to bivouac on the way to the Oualata of Matmata. Engines off, silence returns. The desert slowly cooling down. Another night under the open sky. And as always, we cooked. Chicken curry with prawns. Simple ingredients, big flavors. Prepared in the middle of nowhere. The smell of spices mixing with the desert air. Voices around the fire. Stars above us. And just like that, another perfect ending to a long day. Et voilà!
Drifting light, endless cold, echo
Hidden deep in the Adrar Mountains lies a place that feels impossible. The Vuelta of Matmata. After kilometers of dry rock and dust, the landscape suddenly changes. A narrow canyon, steep cliffs, and at the bottom, water. Dark, still, unexpected. This is one of the last refuges of desert crocodiles in Mauritania. A small colony survives here, isolated for centuries as the Sahara became drier and harsher. They are smaller than their Nile relatives, quiet, almost invisible against the rock. In a land defined by sand and heat, this place feels different, alive, ancient, secret. Standing there, watching the still water between the cliffs, you realize something extraordinary. The Sahara is full of surprises, and sometimes, in the middle of the desert, there are crocodiles. At the Vuelta of Matmata, we had a choice. Go above the canyon or follow the riverbed. I knew that from above, the chances of seeing crocodiles were much higher, but time was against us. We still had to reach Nouakchott before nightfall to begin the journey back, so we chose the riverbed. Driving between rock walls, following the dry course of water, moving through a landscape that felt completely different from the open desert. Beautiful, raw, remote. But with that decision, we knew we might miss the crocodiles. Sometimes, in an expedition, you can't have everything. You choose the route, you accept the outcome, and you keep moving forward. A small setback along the way. A tire. Blown. Just like that. We stopped. Heat rising from the ground. Sand everywhere. No stress. No panic. Out here, this is part of the journey. Tools out. Spare tire on. A few minutes. And we were moving again. In the desert, problems don't stop you. You solve them. And you keep going.
Tu me donnes un cadeau de clés, il manque un clé. Voici un
Trop
grand
vite.
mécanique.
Oui.
I feel way beyond my eyes. Lean towards the color that lies within. Nothing between you and I. Still you right there under my skin. I've been waiting. There's no fault lines to crack and leave me aching. Thinking on a fault line, it leaves me numb, but it's something that might never come. So I'll be waiting here in your arms. There was a silence deep inside, held on a wish and gone with the wind. A whisper, just give me a sign, 'cause I'm right here, beyond and within. I've been waiting. There's no fault lines to crack and leave me aching. Thinking of a fault line, it leaves me numb, but it's something that might never come. So I'll be waiting here in your arms. I'll be waiting, I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting, I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting, I'll be waiting.
In Nouakchott, the desert meets the ocean. And nowhere is that more visible than at the fish market. At sunrise, the beach is already alive. Wooden fishing boats lining the shore, engines roaring, men pulling nets through the surf. Tons of fish landed every single day. carried on shoulders, loaded into carts, sorted directly on the sand. It's pure movement. Fishermen shouting, buyers negotiating, porters running back and forth, a controlled chaos. And then the smell, strong, raw, unmistakable. The scent of fresh fish mixing with salt air and diesel fumes. This is not a tourist market. It's real, intense, essential to the life of the capital. In Nouakchott, you don't just see the Atlantic, you feel it, in sound, in motion, and in the smell of thousands of fish arriving with. Every day, hundreds of traditional wooden boats, pirogues, head out into the Atlantic. Hundreds of fishermen, working in teams, returning with the tide. By morning, the beach is full. Boat after boat arriving through the surf, men jumping into the water, pulling them ashore by hand. And then, the unloading begins. Boxes, crates, fish carried on shoulders, tons of fish every single day. Sea bream, sea bass, groupers, tuna, mackerel, sardines, everything fresh, everything moving fast. There are no cold rooms here on the sand, no long delays. What arrives must be sold immediately. Buyers negotiate on the spot, middlemen move fast, trucks wait to transport the catch inland. It's intense, chaotic, perfectly functional. Hundreds of boats, thousands of people, all working in sync with the ocean. In Nouakchott, this is not just a market, it's the heartbeat of the city, powered by the sea. Before reaching the border, it was time to say goodbye. For 12 days, he had been more than a guide. Chicali, our pisteiro, our mechanic, our problem solver. Calm, educated, deeply knowledgeable about every track, every village, every hidden path across the Sahara. When something broke, he found a solution. When the route disappeared, he found the way. When we needed help, he was there, always. In the desert, trust is everything. And with Chicali, that trust was natural. The handshake at the border felt heavier than expected. 12 days in the Sahara create bonds that are hard to explain. He turned back toward his land. We continued north. But some people remain part of your journey forever, and I truly hope one day our tracks will cross again.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous. Vous êtes
Très
un groupe
professionnel.
très professionnel. Vous êtes très gentil. Et merci pour toutes les journées qu'on a fait ensemble. Pour la prochaine aussi.
Ok.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
J'espère
Shukran.
un très bon retour.
Shukran.
Nous sommes en contact.
Nous sommes, bien sûr, nous sommes toujours en contact.
Back in Morocco, after days in the desert, things felt familiar again. A hotel, walls, a proper kitchen, and once more, we made it our own. From Portugal, we had brought food with us, frozen, carefully carried across the journey. That night, it was time to enjoy it. Pata negra ham to start, then tenderloin steaks, and picanha. Simple, perfect, delicious. After sand, dust, and long days on the tracks, this felt like a reward, a taste of home, shared between friends, somewhere between Africa and the road back, because every journey deserves a proper ending. On the way back, heading toward Dakhla, we made a stop, a suggestion from one of the group. He had eaten there before, right by the ocean, a simple place. Wind coming in from the Atlantic, salt in the air. And then the table filled. 48 oysters, fresh mussels, golden sea bream, grilled to perfection. Exceptional. After days of sand and dust, this felt almost unreal. The sound of waves instead of wind, the smell of the sea instead of diesel. And to make it even better, Portuguese wine. From the few bottles we still had left, carried all the way through the desert. Glasses raised, stories retold, salt still on our jackets. Moments like this are part of the journey too. Not just the hardship, but the reward. "12 days in Mauritania of the total 20 days journey. Thousands of kilometers, over 10,500. From rain in Porto to sandstorms in the Sahara. We crossed borders that tested our patience. We crossed the Tropic of Cancer. We drove alongside one of the longest trains in the world. We endured 3 days of sandstorm, thermal amplitudes of nearly 30 degrees. Mechanical failures solved in the middle of nowhere. We stood before prehistoric cities more than 4,000 years old. Walked through Wadan, Shingeti, Tichitt, and Oualata, ancient caravan crossroads of knowledge and trade. We crossed 700 kilometers of pure desert without fuel stations. We shared food, gin tonics at sunset, and unforgettable meals by the ocean. We met extraordinary people. Nomads at wells, fishermen in Nouakchott, and Shikali, guide, mechanic, friend. The Sahara tested us, but it also rewarded us. Because this journey was never just about distance. It was about history, resilience, friendship, and the silent power of the desert. Mauritania is not just a destination. It's an experience that stays with you long after the tracks disappear behind you.
Now that this trip is coming to an end, it's time to start preparing new routes for the next adventure, which I hope starts as soon as possible.